Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Base1 Podcast.
Welcome back. We're here.
With the one and only Ryan Trahan.
I don't know
What's up, guys?
I don't know how we managed to do this. I don't know how we
pulled
conned
some
him
strings.
into being on our.
Some strings and some favors here and there.
Yep.
You know,
You don't want
Got
to know
it.
what we did to make this happen.
It's been a process.
Yeah.
Ben, you've
Yes.
been all over the place.
You know,
trying to get
today's
this
been
up.
a little bit stressful for me today. We are at Playlist Live right now.
Playlist
so
Live.
this set is, not our regular average
We're
set.
on the move.
Exactly. But we did our best. So, I want to give myself a round of applause.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. But applause for Finn, please, because he did try very hard,
I did.
and I feel like this is almost as good as you can get, given the circumstances.
It's better than most podcasts. I think.
Wow. Can we have that on like our tagline? Like Ryan Trahan, better than most podcasts.
yeah.
Well,
Base1 Podcast, better than most podcasts.
Better
yeah.
than most.
Awesome. So you're our first guest on the
I'm
Base1
so
Podcast.
flattered. Yeah, I'm so honored to be on the podcast. I was
There you
telling
go.
these guys like this: the topics that you guys are gonna be discussing is something that I'm personally a fan of. So super excited to be on. Appreciate it.
Well, for this topic, I hope you're going to be a fan of it because the topic is you. The topic
You're
is
the
you this
topic.
time.
I guess I'm interested. Okay.
Perfect.
So usually for our podcast, we'll talk about whatever it's going on on online video. But whenever we have a creator on, we want to just talk to them about what it is like for them. Share stories about how it's been for you. First of all, what brings you to Playlist?
Yeah, so let's see. I've been to VidCon. I've been to Vid Summit, which
Yeah,
is where
that's where actually we met. Yeah.
we met, and they were great. I love meeting creators because I live in Texas and I don't get an opportunity to be like, hey, you want to get lunch together? Because everyone's in LA or just like in other parts of the world.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty isolated, and I try to take every opportunity I can. It's my first Playlist Live. Very hectic.
Yes.
But
How would
it's-
you compare Playlist Live to Vid Summit?
Oh my god, completely different universes.
Yeah.
Dude. Like I literally am terrified of leaving my hotel lobby
Yes,
because I just don't know where anything is. Like there's literally tons of teenage girls
Yes.
outside of this area where creators have to go.
They have so when I picked him up,
Yeah.
I picked him up from his hotel, and there's a line of like fans basically all standing behind like a piece of tape because they're like forced to like stand, I guess, back there, right?
Yeah, they know where the creators are going to leave from.
Exactly. And so they're just waiting there. And so when I went to pick him up, there's a line of people, and they're all like stopping him for selfies. Like we had to like drag him basically out because everyone wants to talk, which is great. It's cool. They all get to meet you and talk to you and all
Super
stuff.
flattering, but
Exactly.
it is kind of like scary to
Yeah,
see
exactly.
as a person.
Yeah, it's like a little intimidating almost.
Is this like your first experience with like fan interaction at this level?
I would say this is the most elevated it's been. I mean, I've obviously like said hi to fans before,
Yeah, for
and
sure.
like VidCon, a few people stopped me. But
Yeah,
this is
yeah.
like, there's just such a high concentration
Yeah.
of what I
Yeah.
think might be my demographic. So
Yes,
it's like,
yes.
it's
Like, wow.
insane. Yeah,
Wow.
it's crazy.
Wow.
Do you think that it might be just because you haven't gone to a lot of conventions before, or because because of the way you've been growing lately?
Yeah, that's interesting. I feel like recently, my concern is that with my new content that it's so broad that I won't
Yeah.
necessarily have like a demographic where I can look at them and be like, oh, they might watch my videos. They probably watch my videos. So I think a lot of the people that are coming up to me are either fans of like my commentary stuff, or I've actually heard a lot of people that are like, dude, your ideas are so genius.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
So I think I am still reaching that audience that I was before.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot more eyes on it recently, I think.
Yeah, I think what's cool about your videos is that regardless of what you do, there's your personality at the center of it.
Yeah.
So people can latch onto that. So you can be doing whatever you want. At the end of the day, people, whatever content you're making, people can still become fans of you, get to know your sense of humor.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting because you mentioned that like some people will say, "Oh, I love your ideas." That's where I found you.
Yeah.
That's actually how I found you. Is I was looking through YouTube, and this is when we kind of first started our
that's
channel.
true. Yeah,
I was
yeah,
looking at different channels, whatever, and I just popped onto your channel, and immediately I was like, "Whoa." These are like the kind of ideas we're looking for. Like
No
this is
way.
what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
Like I remember, I think it was your spending a night in the potato.
The
I
overnight
think.
in the
Overnight in the
potato,
potato.
yeah.
I saw that, and then I saw like I think it was something like one of the drive-through videos. Just the way that they were formatted with the titles and thumbnails and stuff. I'm like, this is what we're trying to do. Like this is good
Dude, that's
and fun,
crazy.
amazing ideas.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's so many channels that I look at the same
Yeah,
way. So
yeah,
that's like the
yeah.
biggest literally the biggest compliment that someone could give me.
Dude, it's so good. What made you actually like start going down that route for your YouTube channel? Because you also used to do like other stuff as well on YouTube.
Yeah,
right?
so I used to do commentary videos similar to Cody Co, where I was trying to be a comedian. I would take this like topic and try to make fun of it essentially, because it worked for me, and I was trying to make a career for myself.
Yeah.
But after about a year or so, it was really successful, and I was at my peak of this, and it was like I was competing with the top dogs in commentary, and I realized it just wasn't fulfilling for me. Like I consider myself to be a hard worker and like a smart guy who really wants to just like be himself. So after a year of kind of trying to put other people down, I realized you know what, I could have all success in the world. I'm not going to be fulfilled doing this. And so I decided, you know what, like one thing I'm really interested in is just like being original. Like I don't want to do a trend. I want to sit down and think of some cool ideas, and I'll still make videos like similar to how I was making before. I'll still try to be myself, but I kind of want to like take over the whole YouTube thing. And so like similar to you guys, just trying to like appeal to as many people as possible now is kind of what's exciting to me, because it's this new endeavor that might never end. It's something that I can always pursue and try to get better at, and I'm obsessed with that. So
yeah, that's so interesting you say that, because that's basically like word for word exactly how I felt. I had a gaming channel, and like I wasn't like necessarily, you know, competing with a lot of these other gaming channels, because I was still just like starting it out and trying it, but I was friends with a lot of them because I was doing like graphic design for them. So I saw this like the success of like people doing gaming videos every day, and I was like, I kind of want that. Like I want to do, you know, do these game videos. So I tried it for a while, and I started doing, you know, decently enough where I was like, oh, this is actually really cool, like that I can do this. But then I hit that exact same thing that you're saying, where I'm like, I could see how this would be, and maybe it's kind of not what I want. It's not as fulfilling. I don't feel like I'm creatively being fulfilled. I don't feel like I'm really proud of even the content that much. I'm not like trying to show my friends like, you should see this amazing gaming video that I made. I just wasn't feeling that as much.
Yeah, Finn, I think it's better to do that before though. Like I'm okay with the fact that I did it, you know, the commentary videos, and I'm sure like the same thing with gaming, because then it would always be in the back of your mind, like, what if I did gaming, like as you're pursuing what you're currently pursuing. Exactly. So it's definitely worth it going through, you know, what we did.
Know what you don't want, I guess.
How long have you been doing YouTube for?
So I started the summer going into my freshman year of college, and that was 2.5 years ago.
Okay.
But I haven't really been taking it seriously as a career. I've been doing it for about 1.5 years, like where I'm like, okay, let's try to be big on YouTube.
And that was when you started your commentary channel, or is that
I would say so, yes. Okay. So before I was making running content, and that's not really broadly appealing or like much of a business anyway. But it is what you knew. It was what I was doing, and it was like the most obvious content to make. But yeah, when I started the commentary 2 years ago or 1.5 years ago, like that's when I started.
So the running content would be kind of what got you into YouTube, because you were like into running, and then you're like, might as well post it on YouTube. I'm guessing. Yeah,
totally. And I was just trying to make videos so I could sell my water bottles, because I had this like business I started in high school, and it ended up like doing okay. You know, the running audience was great, because like you can easily say, just drink more water through this bottle, and it was like the most obvious integration. So it started doing well. But that was why I tried to get my foot in the door.
That's super interesting.
It wasn't even about YouTube.
Similar for me, I was doing graphic design, and YouTube was a great way to advertise my graphic design.
There you go.
And I was like, how do I get clients, right? How do I get people to want my design work? I posted on YouTube, and that kind of transitioned me into all of that. That's super interesting.
Yeah, I actually saw your 7-minute ab workout, and I believe you were just selling a water bottle at the end of it.
Yeah, there you go.
So what happened to that business?
Yeah.
So Neptune. Okay, so logistically speaking, the water bottle business, I invested a lot of money into molds, and we got pretty far along. I'm really proud of the product itself, but from a business perspective, it just wasn't worth the amount of time and effort that I was putting in. I'm still really proud of what we did. It was like a big learning experience, but yeah, the margins aren't fantastic, and I realized maybe I can pursue something more applicable to my audience that's a lot more broad now, not always runners. So you know, doing something like a more premium apparel line is fascinating, or even like candles in the future we're working on. A little more broadly appealing businesses I'm thinking of. So
but I'm assuming similar to what we were talking about before, you're still like stoked that you started out with that. It's a great foot in the door. Like you figured it out, and now you know kind of more about, you know, what you want to go into.
It's a learning experience. I don't regret anything, and I'm sure you guys could say the same. You know,
what made you start YouTube? Like, did you see other creators be like, oh, I want to be like them, or?
Dude, the funniest thing in the world. I always wanted to be a Call of Duty quickscoper. Like,
no way.
I wanted to join FaZe
That's so
bad.
Funny.
FaZe Rise Sniper. I don't even know what my name would have been, but the goal was always like, I'm gonna try to join FaZe. But the thing is, they only had people on Xbox on their roster, and I had a PS3.
No.
And I was like completely limited by this, all because I had an underscore in my name, because you can't can't do a space on PS3. But that was the goal. That's why I started editing. I started making montages. I started, submitting like clips, like please accept me into your clan.
That's so amazing.
And so that's how I started off with this whole like content creative
content
perspective.
in general,
and then later on I kind of like after a few years I went to high school, like I tried getting
so you were in middle school when you were doing
I was in middle school when I was trying to join FaZe.
Wow.
and you were uploading these videos to YouTube.
I was, but I was getting maybe like 10 views or so. And I mean, they were good videos. Like I look back and I spent hours and hours on these videos.
Yeah.
And I think that's been consistent from the beginning. Like I didn't upload the video unless I watched a bunch of tutorials on how to do a certain thing and made sure it was at least like a certain level of quality. But then, a few years later, I still had sort of that like mindset and like creative ability, I suppose. Just applied it to something a little more possible. Like I'm not going to join FaZe. So I started doing running videos and I already had that kind of skill set. So
What are your goals now, do you think? Because obviously back then you wanted to join FaZe, but the goals, I think that maybe it's not so applicable now, but now what would you say your goal is, do you think, for your channel?
I think it's similar to you guys. Like I really just want to be happy what I'm doing. I think that's number one. I think that's always like the biggest realization a creator can make. Like, are you doing what you love? Because you can find ways to take what you love and make it packageable for a broad audience. Whereas like before, I feel like one, I wasn't reaching as broad of an audience as I could, but also I wasn't fulfilled making the commentary videos or the running videos. So now I'm kind of like in a ballpark where it's like, I'm going to do whatever I want. I'm going to make it feel like my sort of video, but the goal is as many views as possible.
10 million bangers.
10 million bangers. Yeah. We have this group chat where literally the title of the group is 10 million bangers. And we just are going for, some top tier content. And it's something that is, it's not very achievable. And I like that it's difficult. And I like that I can just take an idea, like sit for a long time and try to make it as good as possible. Break down like what the best storytelling would be. It's a big challenge. And I'm a competitive guy. So just kind of taking over YouTube's the goal right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's the goal.
Where do you think this 10 million views goal start? Because
why 10 million? Why? We had the same thing.
Ages ago.
Really?
Where did that come from? I wonder. I don't even remember.
Tyler Oliveira is the first guy I heard. He just kept literally at Vid Summit. He kept asking, "So how do I get a 10 million banger?" Going up to every single person. So this guy is pretty obsessed with it and kind of just became a meme in our group. But it's I don't have a 10 million view video. You guys do. And how does that feel to have a double digit?
Dude, it feels. I feel like
good.
it's what made our whole channel basically. Like,
well, that's what helped us take off. And it's funny because like when we released that video, like I felt like this is the 10 million banger. And
we had a whiteboard, right, that was written down in the middle was 10 million banger.
And
we were like, I think it was just 10 million view video. And we were like,
and the title of the video, like the file,
the little file name is 10 million views.
You're joking. That is such a cool story.
And funnily enough, like it sounds like something that maybe we just said 10 million views in every video. It's like, no, that was the first video that we were like, okay, we want a video that gets 10 million views.
Wow.
And we did it. We tried since to be like, all right, now we'll make another video. It didn't work, right? But that's a prophetic. Magically somehow worked.
It's weird because once you get something that works really well, like your mind kind of like creates like the paths your mind goes are always similar to that thing that was very successful. So it's kind of hard.
It's almost limiting to have success.
But
I mean,
eventually you gotta make a break of that for sure.
Yeah, so that's what we're trying to kind of work on right now. Is that like we had that one video that's such a success, and we are super stoked about it.
Yeah.
But it definitely did like carve our minds into being like, oh, this is how you succeed. When in reality, there's a million ways, and we need to learn those. Yeah.
Do you think that it's the What was the success with this video? Like, do you think it was the format or the fact that it was iPhones, or there's just a lot of things that
I feel like
came together?
Something that I've been thinking about lately is just layers on layers on layers. It's not like one thing that's gonna blow it up. It's a combination of a few things that could be successful on their own, and you put them together, and that's what takes it to the next level. So, for example, you have the giving away something that people all want.
Right.
Then you have the competition between iPhone and Android. Then you have the way you gamify it, so that you have like that attention, audience retention. People are like entertained, and there's like a goal. So there were like a lot of elements to that.
Yeah, I don't know if we want to give away all of our secrets, basically.
but I mean, I thought this was the whole point.
That's the point. Yeah.
I mean, right. What are all your secrets?
Number one.
But our actual strategy behind that video, and I think what made it a success was we had that whiteboard where it was we want a video that gets 10 million views, right? And it was we made a mind map, and it was what are all the elements that would contribute to achieving that, right?
Yeah.
And one of them was provide value, right?
Yeah.
It needs to provide value. So when you're watching it, you need to feel like you're actually learning and getting something from it, right? And so that's where kind of the game came in, where it was what is the difference between these two phones? So you're getting a value
teaching element to it.
behind which one has a bigger screen, which one has the headphone jack. So you're kind of learning something, right? And then you're also provoking emotion as well, because when you're seeing these people choose those things, then if you are on one side or the other, you're going to be kind of pissed off. You're like, what the heck? I can't believe this person chose that phone, or I can't believe they thought this, or I can't believe so it engages you in that way.
Right.
And then the fact that it's a game show with a prize on the line makes you want to watch the whole video.
Yeah, there's stakes
so
involved.
There were so many little combinations, and then also it had never been done before. No one was giving away iPhones to people. There was some videos maybe of giving away free things, but not in that way. It wasn't a trend yet. It wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
I feel like there had been years ago. What was it? Big DOS TV.
Yeah, Big DOS TV. I think.
Just going out to people. Oh, here's the phone, and just walked away.
Yeah.
But you created a format where there's
we
can't just have it.
We added to it.
Yeah,
exactly.
You need to earn this.
And funnily enough, that came from that idea of making it a game kind of came from the limitation of not wanting to just give away a bunch of phones. How do we just we don't want to give away 20 phones in a video or something, right? So how do we make it a little harder to just get this phone, right?
Yeah, totally.
And it actually came from that. But now that's kind of a whole trend now, that giving away phones a thing. It's almost been blood dry.
You guys started a big trend. Yeah.
And there's been some amazing videos. I've seen some videos that I think are better than our video. I think Elliot Choi's video.
Yeah.
It was so smart. He had a unique kind of modifier on it that was so amazing.
Yeah.
And that video, I think, has more views than ours now. That video.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Probably.
But yeah, just all of this combined, the amount of how you're saying, okay, it has to provoke emotion, there has to be stakes.
Yeah.
Just that thought process is what's so fascinating to me about trying to get a 10 million banger.
Yes.
You don't think this hard about a vlog.
Exactly.
There's so much that goes into it, and I think that's the exciting part about it. It's not easy, and that's the challenge. That's
when
obsessive.
you came up with a video idea, do you have certain things that you want to accomplish in the video, or how do you see coming up with video ideas?
Yeah, so with video ideas, I sort of have a checklist.
Yes.
It has to have a certain aspects of it. So ideally, low resources. It doesn't cost a lot of money or time. It's broadly appealing. Anyone that's 8 years old and 60 years old would both like it. And just a few other factors that make up for a great idea. And in terms of the story, I sort of work backwards a lot of times. I think of the thumbnail and title first. I'm okay, because I think it's the most important personally.
Yeah.
It determines the impression pool, in my opinion.
Yes.
And so I sort of work backwards and try to think of okay, how can I make this a game? Just like you guys made that video more of a game than just giving away iPhones.
Yep.
But I also try to make sure that I'm still being myself.
Yes.
And so there is room to not always have a perfect story. Recently, I hate saying this, but my flop running a marathon while in VR. I literally ran 26.2 miles in a virtual reality headset while playing
insane.
Minecraft.
Yeah.
And I think we overthought it. I think we strategized the story too much. We literally had every 5 to 10 seconds. All right, this is going to go here. This is going to go here. And it sort of took away the personable aspect of it.
Yeah.
And so it's a learning experience just like everything else. And I'm sure you guys literally had the
It's so
the
funny.
thing.
We had the exact same thing happen, and it was very similar. We planned it so much. We had a video that was successful in the past that we were trying to replicate so hard, and we wanted to just put everything into this to make this video succeed. And we ended up just missing some key fundamentals that went into, I think, making it a 10 million banger. So it just flopped as well.
And so coming off of that flop for me, I told myself, okay, let's do an idea. It takes 2 or 3 hours of film. It won't take any time to edit, and I'm not even gonna produce it at all. I literally removed music tracks that sounded good in my opinion. It was a well done video. I removed them to make it feel it's just talking. So I did airdropping $100 bills to strangers. I did it with Steezy Kane, who's a great guy, super funny, and I completely stripped all the production that made it good. And
crazy.
the retention is 50% compared to the 30% of the marathon video, where we spent a month and a half planning everything.
Absolutely
so
crazy.
there's
it's already doing better, right? Than the
it's got like almost double the views in like 2 days.
Wow.
It's so crazy.
Wow.
So I think with YouTube we're always learning. Like I'll sit here and say something now. Next week
Exactly.
we'll learn something else.
Like I remember at Vid Summit being so confident about the video because I had this knowledge and I was like, I'm so confident this video's gonna do well. And now it's like you have to eat your words. You're like, oh.
Yeah, so I mean, there's always something to learn, but I think with YouTube, something I'm unfortunately accepting is that maybe there's not always room for this high level of effort that I put into the marathon video, or maybe there's other elements like it was too produced, or we should have used different lenses and stuff like that. So
I feel like at the end of the day, you always want to think of the audience and what they're trying to what is it that you're trying to provoke in the audience, and sometimes it is that relatability and that. Just immersion. Sometimes it's much more immersive to have like a kind of like phone video than to have like the cinematic look.
Yeah. We're trying to like toe that line between it because there are a lot of channels who actually do really amazing cinematic content, but it's like it's kind of boring. Like it's not interesting, you know?
Yeah,
You're trying
I feel
to toe
like
that line between the two.
Got all my cinematic stuff from Sam Colder in like 2016.
Yes,
I'm good.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's I totally agree. There's so fascinating how like phone footage can be more compelling and like resonate with us more and more entertaining than good quality.
We were talking about that for TikTok because I want to start doing TikTok stuff, but if you just put your regular video on TikTok, it just doesn't feel the same. It feels wrong. It feels like it needs to be filmed on like a phone and have that. And I think that's kind of the beauty of YouTube too, is that like the reason people like YouTube is because it's not TV and it has like a homegrown feel and it feels like in a way that people can really relate to and resonate with. So yeah, it's those are all things that you need to think about in order to get a 10 million banger. So I totally agree. That's why it's fun. That's what makes it fun.
10 million banger.
Yeah.
Still waiting.
Banger.
Still waiting.
Moral of the story. 10 million bangers.
10 million bangers.
Hashtag.
Hashtag 10 million bangers. Now, sadly, the sad thing about this improvised setup and being at Plays Live is that we don't have a lot of time to, keep going.
Exactly.
So I'm so sad.
Ryan has to go now.
We'll have to get you back on the podcast, though. We'll have to get you back on part 2.
Okay. When are you guys leaving? Like,
good question. We'll have to find a way to make something work in because we do have a few weeks where we're still in Portland. Before we leave. So
I seriously love chatting with you guys so much. Like I just want to.
Dude, we need a full 2-hour length, podcast. That we need to do it.
The cool thing is like we talk like this outside of the podcast all the time, so I feel like I'm just sitting down with you guys right now.
Exactly. We should also get Tyler on as well, the 10 million banger legend, one of the 10 million banger creators.
He's got a lot of interesting ideas. So.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you so much for being on the podcast.
Thank you guys so much.
And hopefully we'll do this again.
Next time we'll do full length.
Yeah, exactly.
For sure.
Exactly.
And hopefully we know more.
Exactly.
More knowledge.
More knowledge, exactly.
Subscribe to know all the. On the next episode, we'll actually reveal all the secrets. So if you want to know all the secrets of 10 million banger, this is just like a little preview taste.
See you tomorrow.
Say subscribe.
Exactly. Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.